In a week already filled with speculation and quiet frustration around the Chicago Bears trade deadline inactivity, a new storyline has emerged that could reshape the team's defensive future. Former Los Angeles Chargers cornerback Asante Samuel Jr is officially back on the radar, and the Bears are on his visit list. For a defense still searching for answers in the secondary, this opportunity could not have come at a better time. The 24-year-old defensive back, who once looked like a rising star in Los Angeles, is reportedly visiting 6 teams over the next several days. The Bears are scheduled to meet him next Tuesday, following visits with the Panthers, Packers, Vikings, and 49ers. The Steelers are also on the list. This is not your standard free agent tour. Samuel is coming off a spinal fusion surgery, an extremely serious medical procedure that has kept him off the field for more than a year. Despite being cleared by his personal doctors, each team he visits will conduct its own medical evaluation before considering a contract offer. The Bears' medical staff will look closely at Samuel's conditioning, recovery stability, and physical readiness. Because he has not played in a live game since early last season, any realistic timeline for him to contribute would likely push his debut into Week 12 or later. That might sound like a long wait, but for a team quietly fighting to stay in the playoff picture, a healthy Asante Samuel Jr could be a mid-season spark worth the patience. If Chicago defeats the Giants this weekend, they would move to 6-3, keeping them firmly in postseason contention. That position could make Chicago an attractive destination for Samuel, a contending team with defensive snaps available, a passionate fanbase, and a staff willing to take measured risks for the right fit. Within Halas Hall, the belief remains that competition strengthens the unit. Cornerback Tariq Stevenson has held one outside spot firmly, but Terrell Smith and Jalen Johnson have battled injuries and inconsistency. Nan Wright has flashed potential but remains inconsistent in coverage. Samuel could provide an insurance policy, or even push for starting snaps if he proves his form has returned. There's also positional flexibility to consider. Samuel, like his father before him, has the quickness and awareness to play both outside and nickel roles. With C.J. Gardner-Johnson dealing with injuries and Kyler Gordon still a few weeks away from returning, that versatility could make Samuel an invaluable mid-season addition. Chicago's coaching staff has always valued smart, ball-aware defenders. And that's exactly what Asante Samuel Jr brings when healthy: 37 career pass breakups and an aggressive, instinctive play style that disrupts passing lanes and tests even elite receivers. If he visits, impresses, and clears all medical evaluations, there's a very real possibility that the Bears could offer a short-term, incentive-based deal. That would allow Samuel to prove himself on a competitive roster while giving the Bears much-needed depth without sacrificing long-term cap flexibility. The visit isn't a guarantee, but for Chicago, this could be the low-risk, high-reward signing that adds stability to a shaky secondary. This storyline isn't just about one player visiting multiple cities. It's about what the Bears' next move says about their direction, a team trying to balance patience with urgency, rebuilding with contention. After the trade deadline came and went, fans were vocal. Many wanted Chicago to do more, to find another pass rusher, to strengthen the cornerback position, to take bold steps toward becoming a legitimate playoff contender this season. Instead, the front office chose restraint. Offers were reportedly made for players like Jermaine Johnson and Trey Hendrickson, but the asking prices were steep, second-round picks or better. The Bears refused to overpay, sticking to their long-term plan rather than chasing short-term gratification. That decision may prove wise, especially if a move like signing Asante Samuel Jr pans out. A smart, measured addition at corner could upgrade the defense without mortgaging future draft assets. And that's exactly what Chicago needs: depth without desperation. The Bears' defense has shown flashes of brilliance this season, particularly against the run. But the secondary depth remains a concern, especially with multiple starters battling lingering injuries. The addition of Joe Tryon-Shoyinka at edge helps in the short term, but it's clear the front office isn't done tweaking this roster. A healthy Samuel could bring leadership, experience, and a fearless mentality to the locker room. Even if he doesn't start right away, his presence could elevate competition among younger defensive backs, pushing everyone to raise their game. Before we move further, if you're a Bears fan who lives for inside updates, roster moves, and in-depth analysis, make sure you subscribe and turn on notifications right here. You'll get reliable coverage every week, no rumors, no fluff, just real football talk about the Chicago Bears. Let's hit that next milestone together. Bear down. Now let's return to the field. If you zoom out, the Bears' situation is a reflection of calculated patience. They're not a finished product, but they're closer than they appear. Caleb Williams has shown composure and leadership beyond his years. Luther Burden continues to evolve as a reliable target, and rookie running back Kyle Manengai has become one of the team's best late-round surprises. But with every step forward, the injury list has been an equally stubborn opponent. Heading into the Giants matchup, the Bears' injury report remains one of the longest in the league. Josh Blackwell is in concussion protocol, Kevin Byard is managing back and ankle issues, and T.J. Edwards, one of Chicago's defensive captains, left last week's game with a hamstring concern. D.J. Moore continues to play through hip and groin discomfort. Roman Wilson is dealing with ankle and heel soreness that's clearly affecting his sharpness on routes. Dominique Robinson's high ankle sprain will likely keep him sidelined at least another week. The few bright spots on that list are significant, though. Roscoe Johnson was limited in practice and could finally return, giving the backfield some much-needed versatility. Luther Burden is close to clearing concussion protocol, which would immediately boost the receiving core. And DeAndre Swift, after resting through nagging groin pain, appears to be trending upward. All these moving parts underline just how valuable another proven corner could be. Injuries have forced constant lineup changes and inconsistent communication on defense. Someone like Asante Samuel Jr., who understands NFL speed and technique, could stabilize the rotation once he's physically ready. Internally, the Bears remain optimistic about Kyler Gordon's potential Week 12 return. If that timeline holds, pairing him with C.J. Gardner-Johnson and potentially Samuel could quietly transform Chicago's pass defense heading into the late stretch of the season. The message from the locker room has been simple: stay the course. Veterans have praised the resilience of younger players, while coaches have emphasized that the best football is still ahead. This team isn't panicking, and that's a significant sign of maturity for a roster still finding its full identity. So, where do the Bears go from here? The next few weeks will determine whether this team remains a fringe playoff hopeful or takes the next step towards serious contention. Beating the Giants would be a start, moving Chicago to 6 wins and keeping pressure on the Lions and Packers in the NFC North. The division race is far from settled. Chicago still plays both rivals again, and winning those matchups could redefine the second half of their season. But it all begins with health and balance. You can't sustain playoff football without depth, and the Bears are dangerously close to testing the limits of theirs. That's why the Samuel situation looms so large. It's not just about one roster spot, it's about whether the Bears can seize an opportunity to strengthen an area that's been stretched thin for months. Even if Asante Samuel Jr. needs extra time to regain full conditioning, adding him now could pay dividends in December, when playoff races tighten, weather worsens, and coverage mistakes become the difference between winning and watching from home. The defense doesn't need to be perfect. It just needs to be reliable. Montez Sweat continues to anchor the pass rush, and Austin Booker's recent emergence has brought unexpected energy off the edge. Pairing that front pressure with a more experienced secondary could elevate the entire defense's performance. Head coach and players alike have echoed the same theme in recent weeks: discipline. Chicago doesn't want to build through impulsive trades or desperate moves. They want a sustainable model, young stars developing under strong leadership, supported by veterans who know how to win. It's not flashy, but it's smart football. And that's why the potential signing of Samuel is so fascinating. It fits the model perfectly, a short-term risk with long-term upside. If he plays well, he could be part of the team's plans beyond the season. If not, the Bears lose nothing but time. Fans have every reason to be hopeful. The Bears may not have made a blockbuster trade, but they continue to explore every path toward improvement. That's how winning cultures are built, not overnight, but step by step. And if everything falls into place, weeks like this one, quiet on paper but crucial behind the scenes, might be remembered as the turning point. Chicago has seen its share of rebuilds that never reached completion. This one feels different. The roster is younger, deeper, and guided by a more calculated philosophy. Even the disappointments, like missing out on Jermaine Johnson or Alontae Taylor, make sense within the broader vision. The focus now shifts to the field. The Bears must continue to string together wins, minimize mistakes, and keep developing the core that will define their future. The fans know what's at stake. They can feel the shift, the cautious optimism that something real might be taking shape. If Asante Samuel Jr. walks through the doors at Hallis Hall next week and signs that contract, it will mark more than just another transaction. It will symbolize trust, trust in the medical process, trust in the player's determination, and trust in the team's long-term blueprint. For now, all eyes turn toward next Tuesday. One visit could set the stage for a defensive resurgence in Chicago. And in a season defined by steady progress, this might just be the next big step toward a brighter future for the Bears. Bear down.